Garden of Banban. It has become the most popular game series this year, unfortunately. And these games look awful, from controversies about 3D models being so unoptimized to awfully slow interactions and mediocre acting and game design in general. But like, are they experienced developers? Like, I'd understand this from new developers or something, but how bad truly are they? Now, this isn't going to be a deep dive into their ethics of merch or how they manage things at all. I will actually be covering pretty much everything else, kinda. I will be admitting one of their titles in this video because I don't exactly think it's appropriate, but maybe someday. Now, obviously, we need to log their games, and they have made quite a few, a lot of them actually being horror games. If you look at their Steam, their first game is posted on January 15th of 2021, which is actually wrong as it was first posted as a demo on their itch.io page. It was called Swallow the Blue Demo. It was posted July 18th, 2020. This is a survival horror that I hated. Now, I did not finish the game, and I have no plan to, but we'll start to notice some, let's call them choices in their game style. Their first defense is making interacting T. Like, why T? I understand F or E, even though we should just universally make it E, but why T? Like, not even R or Q? This will become a prevalent issue. Next is the issue of text boxes. Now, I have no qualms with making a player stand still for a conversation, but not allowing them to skip dialogue is like, you can't even fast forward this shit. It goes so slow and you have to wait about 5 to 6 seconds to even get the next line of dialogue. That's not even the goddamn end to it. You need to wait like 2 to 3 seconds to even be allowed to move after. My last major complaint is running, and this is why I quit. In this game, to run, you have to double tap A or D. You need to continuously tap repeatedly to run, and most of the time it interrupts the animation and screws you over. Now, here's a rundown of the actual story. You book a cheap hotel and get greeted by the owner to your room on floor 1. Then you have to go to breakfast and everybody is surprisingly one note. People repeat phrases constantly, like they have a set word bank to choose from and seem out of it. You get to sit next to the manager who gives you your schedule. Breakfast, recess, show, sleep. That's your day. So, you have breakfast and can wander around a bit until you go back to your room and meet Bob, your ride or die, who gives you the rules to survive the creepy hotel. You get interrupted by the sound of staff coming in to check on you. The staff being these things. Close your eyes, leave, and then go to the show. The show consists of you and everyone clapping to the comedic duo Harry and Balls, which is really weird because sometimes his name is spelled Balls and other times it's just Balls. Then you go to your room and rinse and repeat. Tomorrow, Bob isn't at the next show, though he's sick, according to the manager. You watch the show and get an interesting story about the cow and the ammonite. The next day, you can walk into Bob's room to find he got game-ended. You go to room 3 and get to meet the ammonite. And next is where I gave up, where you have to follow the hallman through the maze of randomly generated hallways. Which is bullshit, because of the stupid running mechanic, and this motherfucker is so much faster than you. So, I gave up, because of how infuriating it was. The story wasn't actually that bad, though. It was an interesting take, kinda like The Quiet Place. You have to survive escaping the weird tasks of the hotel while acting brainwashed to not be snuffed out and have to close your eyes to avoid dying by the staff. Good take, but poor execution. 8 out of 10 story and style, 3 out of 10 for gameplay purely due to the running mechanics. Next is the game Introvert: A Teenage Simulator, which is the game I was talking about earlier. No. The game synopsis is that a school is threatening you to help get him friends in 5 days or, well, take a guess. I didn't play it because take another goddamn guess. It's free and was released March of 2021. The art style does look kind of cool in my opinion, but yeah. So next really is called He Needs His Medicine, released in April of 2021 on both Steam and itch, but a day apart. It's a game I really liked from them, actually. Only like one major problem is this stupid VHS filter effect that we will get to know very well. You take place as a cop who I think was ordered by a therapist to administer the last dose of a patient's medicine. The patient has become insanely obsessed with blurring the line between man and bird. You have to find 4 items around the building you're in to make the medicine. These ingredients being bleach, glue, old cheese, and a literal goddamn shoe. What the f- Yeah. But I like the silliness of it. You just gotta collect them and then choose 2 to make into medicine for the patient with 6 possible options. There's red, blue, yellow, purple, green, and the dark red dosages, which all give you a different ending out of 6. First is old cheese and glue makes purple, which leads to the death ending, where the patient just straight up dies. Next is the bleach and glue, which makes green. That doesn't work, but the bird chooses to be nice and not kill you. Next is blue made from bleach and cheese, which gives you the ending where he turns back into a naked crazy man, which is admittedly kind of funny. Then there's dark red made from old cheese and the shoe, which just makes him bigger. Then lastly, using bleach and a torn shoe, you make the red dosage, which turns him into a normal full-fledged bird. And that's it. Well, I guess there is a, secret ending where you make yellow from glue and an old shoe. But I wouldn't know what that ending does.
Don't worry. I'm not mad or anything. The typical move right now would be jumping on you really fast, screaming as loud as possible to give you a jump scare, but it's just lame. I would never do that.
Trolled ending, okay. Anyway, 10 out of 10 game. Next is How We Got Here, which first came out in May for Steam, but December for itch. Man, their schedule for releasing stuff is really weird. But the game is even weirder. Imagine Hypixel Skyblock with the logic of Minecraft, but weirder. So you're on a lone island where you have to solve puzzles among the islands to progress. And the puzzles are weird. Without explaining the game too much, so you can play it and still enjoy it. You topple an apple colony from waging war against bananas, walk on a disembodied giant crocodile head and scary capybara-looking thing to becoming the royal banana pet. It's pretty nice, with some good pixel art, story, and puzzles. I will say the text box issue remains, which is even mentioned by a friend of yours in the game, but at least you can sprint normally. Also, it's annoying how you have to talk to everyone so many times for certain objectives to be possible, like the stupid chair objective. No, I will not elaborate. 9 out of 10 game in general. Nice small game. Next is Life on a Pizza, which is actually their first 3D game they published. It's a multiplayer party game, surprisingly, where you and your friends compete to survive the longest on a pizza that's slowly being eaten. Pretty good overall. It's free, and I could see myself playing this with friends when I get a better computer to run it. 8 out of 10, kind of basic, but I could see it being fun with friends. Then we have Human Apocalypse, which technically has 3 releases, 2 on Steam and 1 on itch, with that version being released October 21st of 2021, and the Steam demo version being called Human Apocalypse Prologue, released in December 12th, 2021, and the full game for $10 in February of 2022. And this was one of my favorites from the Euphoric brothers. The game follows you being a zombie, or, well, you were. Zombie plague has actually been cured, but those who turned are now green, but otherwise a normal human. My favorite part is that they made their own slurs for zombies, like how they call elites split lips in Halo. Anyway, you're a zombie who got cured and lives with a really chill roommate. You work in a nearby journalism office and you go to see the discrimination firsthand, as well as meet some pretty nice people. You also participate in a drug deal where you may or may not prove the existence of a zombie mafia. The prologue ends with a cool scene where some zombies offer you to live in their zombie majority community, which honestly sounds like an interesting premise for the whole game. I obviously didn't buy the whole thing because, well, broke. But it looks fun and has an interesting premise. This was the second game of theirs I played, and I just like to point out the elephant in the room, or rather the tortoise. Something I found is that a majority of their games have a tortoise that just walks around without being interactable, which is kind of disappointing. Of their games, 9 out of 10. I see a lot of promise in it, and they fix a majority of my issues with controls. Majority. Why do they still use T for... Our next game is called Fleshwater, which was released mid-November 16th, 2021 on itch and November 3rd of 2021. This was the first game of theirs I played, and kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. This game has you as a mute girl who is bossed around by your partner, who you two are tasked with cleaning a pool area and then feeding TV, which the Euphoric brothers like pointing out the mute main character often. Anyway, you have to do an annoying set of cleaning tasks that take forever with the crappy interactions and movement, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like a 10-minute game maximum, has 3 endings, one where you fail and die, one where you do it successfully, and one ending I never did, so I just wouldn't spoil it. It's an okay game, very short, but meh. It's like a 6 out of 10 from them. Decent, but pretty short and blah. And of course, the tortoise is there in a supply closet. Watching. Lastly is Egghead Gumpy, which is arguably their worst game before BANBAN. Probably because it's worse BANBAN. Egghead Gumpy is a crossing between One Night of Flumpties mixed with BANBAN. I only played the demo because I refused to buy the full thing with how bad it looks for $10 and also... But it was as bad as I thought. You have to go through a random maze-like place with presents around the place with flashlight batteries and keys where you have to find some guy's daughter. It's boring, not very creative compared to their other stuff. The walking creepy egg pops out of random cracks and you have to shine UV to scare him off. And I can confirm, the animation and modeling are of the same quality. But even looking at trailers of the full game, it looks about on par with Garten of BANBAN 2. Still looks really damn boring with little set dressing or visual storytelling. Their skills are definitely more specialized when it comes to 2D games, even if they reuse a lot of assets and scripts. But I can see that they've evolved as 3D developers as they've developed more 3D games. In conclusion, are the Euphoric brothers bad developers? I don't think so. They're definitely not the best or most skilled, but they're interesting. I actually quite enjoyed the times I had with a lot of their games, with some of my favorites being Human Apocalypse, He Needs His Medicine, How We Got Here, and Life on a Pizza. These are definitely ones I recommend if you want an indie game to play, whether it be a long play, short experience, hell with friends, especially if they're like my friends. I think that they just happen to be developers that had a major success on accident and didn't know how to handle it properly. They didn't optimize their games, didn't handle controversy well, and while I believe they are trying to improve as developers and storytellers in their new games, they aren't hitting the bar that fans want them to. I at first thought they were cheap developers trying to scam everybody based on how they had their games set up, based on how some commentaries painted them. But looking into their games more, they have interesting ideas, stories, and styles. The problem is that their games may never have reached the success they wanted them to. And when they made a game that was just bouncing off of Mascot Hoarder that exploded, they just decided to ride the wave as long as they could, in which I don't blame them. I don't blame them for trying to chase whatever bag they want. And I'm definitely impressed that they have been trying to improve as developers, and they're expanding a brand of their own that, even though it's still bouncing off of Mascot Horror, has become sort of its own thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope to do more of these. If you enjoy it, leave a comment. If not, tell me what I'm doing wrong. But thanks for watching. I'll see you later.